Greetings and welcome back to the Osha Cerese Show. I am your host, Osha Cerese, and this is where culture meets coaching. Where culture meets coaching, where healing meets headlines, and where we utilize alchemy to transmute gossip into growth. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. I know it's officially Tuesday now, but happy Monday. This is Monday Night Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. We are celebrating episode 49. That is a big accomplishment. I'm grateful and thankful. And I hope you all have a great weekend and that your work week, or whatever it is that you do during the week, started off amazing. Again, I am Osha Cerese, certified life coach, event curator, and dream doula, helping you to birth your ideas into reality. And I'm sipping on some lemonade tonight. This is the drink of the night. And we are going to toast to a great episode 49, to happiness, great health, abundance, love, joy, bliss. And my mantra lately that I will share with you is what's for me won't miss me. Cheers. Whew. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Where is my... Oh, here we go. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, I'm going to need y'all to go ahead and do that now. If you're watching from any other platform, or if you just so happen to scroll upon my page on YouTube, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well as the notification button, because the Osha Cerese Show is a weeknight, late night pop-up show, and you never know when I'm going to pop up. And just to give y'all a little praise report, we were able to reach our goal, the milestone of 200 subscribers, before April 1st. I think we're at 203, and I'm celebrating. Hey, thumbs up, fireworks. I don't know how to do it, but we made our official milestone. So I'm so grateful for that, because it was looking a little iffy. I didn't know if I was gonna meet my goal before the first, but I did. And I'm gonna tell you what helped in a minute. But yes, go ahead and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Share it with somebody. And make sure you stay tuned, because I have a lot of things up my sleeve. I move in silence, baby. So you just don't know. You just have to be here. But again, if you are watching from any other platform, please make sure you go over to youtube.com/@OshaCerese. It's linked in my bio to make it easy for you. And go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And yes, we did make our goal of 200 before April 1st. So tomorrow, on April 1st, Tuesday night episode, it will be episode 50. We will celebrate that, and we will set a new intention for a new milestone for the month of April. So before I get into the show for real, I posted, it was actually my first YouTube post, the link to, or the actually shared the video. I was interviewed on the Hopeless Romantic Society. Shout out to JC Carter of the Hopeless Romantic Society show. Been following him for a while. Love his content, love his energy, love his platform. I got the opportunity to be on, I believe we filmed it last month sometime. Yeah, I think it was sometime last month. I actually wasn't sure when it was going to be posted. And I had no idea that it had been published. I had been waiting to see if it was going to, he usually posts clips and highlights of his interviews on Instagram. So I was waiting for it to be on my IG timeline, but I never saw it. So I was like, okay, well, maybe isn't going to post it yet, or maybe he changed his mind. Maybe the audio didn't work. I don't know. But I just so happened to have been on YouTube last night, or not last night, but yesterday, and I saw the video. I saw me on my timeline. So the video was posted about 8 days ago. So I caught it a week after it was published. And on the video, he does interviews about what people's, crazy love stories. And y'all know I interview people as well. I interview people at my speed dating events. I interview people on my shows. And I'm not really used to being in the hot seat. I've been on podcasts before. I've been a part of podcasts. I've been, now that I think about it, I haven't really been interviewed that many times. So it was funny because when he asked me the initial question, I immediately went to like career focused stuff, because usually when I am interviewed, it's about business related things. Like, what am I doing? What do I have to offer? What's my journey of entrepreneurship and all of that. I'm used to asking people about love life. Don't nobody be asking me. So I immediately went the career route, and he had to bring me on back to the subject at hand. But I really appreciate him being, providing a safe space for me to be transparent. I've told some of the stories that I shared before, but probably not as detailed. And some of the things that I talked about were a little heavy. Some of the toxic things that I've experienced in my past 10 to 20 years ago. But I appreciate the way JC edits, because he does use dark humor, and I appreciate dark humor. I'm not offended by it. And I think it was good that he added the memes and his commentary and everything to kind of lighten up the subject, because there were some heavy topics that could be triggering for some people, but I've healed past the situations. So I know I saw a few people in the comments like, "Oh, poor woman, baby." That does not affect me anymore. I have done my work. So if you haven't already seen the post that I put on YouTube, go ahead and check it out. It's under community or under posts or something like that. And it will direct you on how you can see the interview. And I'll probably post about it on the other platforms. I just haven't done it yet. But anyway, happy Monday. I know y'all, it's Tuesday officially now, but we celebrating, it's Monday night. And we're still going to pretend like it's still March. Women's History Month. We're going to wrap Women's History Month up. And, I said that we are celebrating Black history all year, as we are, as we always do. But you know what? Today's Woman History Spotlight is the first person that I've spotlighted since I started this show February 1st, who is not technically Black. Now, I think she probably got some Black ancestors, some African in her blood. I'm sure she does, because a lot of people do in the world. But she is definitely very important in our culture, and I wanted to celebrate her today. So the woman that I am honoring today for Women's History Spotlight is Selena. And Selena is known as the Queen of Tejano music. She is a legend that was, gone too soon, but whose impact is still felt today, like so deeply. She was born April 16th, 1971 in Lake Jackson, Texas. Excuse me, Rice Boy Show. She began singing with her family's band, Selena y los Dinos. I'm gonna have to quote one of my favorite lines from the movie in a minute, but it was led by her father, Abraham Quintanilla. She broke barriers in the male-dominated Tejano music industry. First female Tejano artist to gain mainstream success. That's so powerful. In 1994, She won a Grammy for Best Mexican American Album Live. Amor, let me tap into my Spanish. Hold up. Amor Prohibido, 1994, became one of the best-selling Latin albums ever, and songs like Bitty Bitty Bum Bum, Como la Flor, and Dreaming of You Tonight, Dreaming of You, remain timeless. She helped shape Latinx representation in music and fashion. She married her guitarist Chris Perez in 1992 despite her father's initial disapproval. If you marry that man, I will dispatch this whole group. There will not be no more Selenas and Los Dinos. Since my voice is already raspy, I might as well quote that. Their love story is one of devotion and resilience, and Chris has continued to honor her legacy. The reason why I wanted to honor her today is because it was the anniversary of her tragic death. She was murdered on March 31st, 1995, at just 23 years old by her former fan club president, Yolanda Saldivar, whatever her name is. Her album after her passing, Dreaming of You, debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, and she was honored with a Hollywood Walk of Fame star, tribute concerts, a biopic, Selena, starring Jennifer Lopez, and a Netflix series. She also has a Mac collection, dolls, so many things that, so many products that have come from her legacy. And she's just like, I was a child when Selena was alive and, really popping. And I probably, growing up in Colorado, I heard her music but didn't really know much about her. But after seeing the movie, just for them, they did such a great job being able to demonstrate her beauty inside and out. Jennifer Lopez did an amazing job in that biopic, and so did the whole cast. They did so good. It was such a good biopic, because it's very difficult to really capture the essence of someone in those biopics. I'm a biopic lover. Like, that's probably my top, right under romance movies, maybe a smidget. But superb job. I know the movie. I've seen it so many times, but my level of empathy has just risen as I've gotten older. And when I tell you, every time I watch the movie, I literally just cry from beginning to end, because just knowing what's going to happen, but just seeing how special she was to not just her fans and people that enjoyed her music and her impact, but her family. She was so loved. She was so adored. And she just had a special relationship with everybody. And, I saw some clips of her earlier today, and I couldn't even really watch them because I wanted to cry, because she just seemed like she just had such a beautiful spirit. And it was just taken too soon. This woman was obsessed, became her fan club president, made her feel like she was safe and like she could trust her and handle her affairs. And then when Selena found out that she was misappropriating funds and confronted her, not because she was angry, but because she was hurt, and this woman decided to take her life, it was just a tragedy. So you really have to be careful who you allow in your circle, professionally, personally, in life, in love, in career, period. You just never know what people's intentions are, and shame on her for doing that. But props to her family, Selena's family, for keeping her legacy alive, for making sure that they are so selective and um, involved with how her legacy is shared with the world. I know that they put so many hours and time and energy and love into selecting who was going to be a part of this biopic and the Netflix series. And that's really important because a lot of these people, are making movies about people and it's not approved by the family. The family's not involved. It's done too quickly. The casting is off. Um, and it's just a total disservice to people's stories. So kudos to her family. And, Selena, you are honored. We thank you for all that you've done for the culture, not just for Chicano people, Mexican Americans, people who like Tejano music, but for everyone who appreciates art and appreciates artists and appreciates just beautiful spirits. So thank you for what you've shared with us, and may your legacy continue to live on. And although it's Women's History Month, I also want to shout out Nipsey Hussle because this is also the anniversary of his death. And he was so amazing and impactful and ahead of his time and iconic, and dope, his legacy is definitely living on. The marathon definitely continues, through his brother, Big Sam, through his children, his daughter, and his little boy, through his lover and woman, Lauren London, through his homies, through his family, through his parents, and through all of us that loved him. And not only just his music, but his mindset. He laid the blueprint for a lot of things that we need to be aware of, valuing assets over liabilities, pouring into our communities, into our youth. One of the clips that I really love about him, love from him, is him talking about his routine with his daughter and how he instilled character into her, character and confidence and integrity and those things. That resonates with me because I have the Orchid program, where I do the same for youth as well. And I think he named 3 out of the Orchid principles when he was talking about what he instills in his daughter. Orchid stands for originality, respect, confidence, honesty, integrity, and determination. I believe in that video, I think he talked about integrity, confidence, and possibly determination, or it might have been originality, like being a leader, something like that. But he definitely aligned with what I believe is important to set the foundation of with children. And of course, his music was dope before he passed. That whole year before he passed, I just kept my phone on Nipsey radio. Like I was listening to Nipsey a lot. So I remember when I saw the news that he had been shot, when we hadn't even got the word yet that he passed away, and I just remember feeling so empty and sad. And I was just so nervous. I kept refreshing my phone. And then when I saw the news, I was just so devastated about it. And I felt a way all the way up to his funeral. And I cried through the whole funeral. Watched it on TV with my mom. And it was just like, it was a different type of death because usually I'm not as affected by celebrity deaths because I don't know them people. Even though anybody's death is sad, but it was a different type of sadness, and it wasn't just me. It was felt by our community and by a lot of people. So he definitely left an impact. So I wanted to shout out Nipsey Hussle as well, because both of those beautiful souls transitioned on March 31st. And Nipsey passed March 31st of 2019. So rest peacefully to them both. Fly high, continue to give us your energy when you can. Share your energy through your music and your love and your light that you send to us. I don't know why my voice is so rusty, y'all. It's been rusty all day. Is it because I've been talking so much on the show? I don't know. But since we just talked about, I mean, sounds crazy. This is that dark humor I just was talking about. It's not really humor, but it's kind of a crazy ass segue. Because I was just about to say, since we were talking about Selena and Yolanda and being careful about who you keep in your close circle and watching for people and using your discernment. The first topic that I wanted to get into, because we're talking about some of the drama that went on Real Housewives, or been going on this new season of Real Housewives. Now, I've been watching Real Housewives of Atlanta since the very first season. This particular season is very different than the ones before. Of course, we're missing a lot of the OG cast members. So, Nene been off. Candy had been on the show since season 2 consecutively, didn't miss a season. So it's different for her not to be on there, even though people try to say they don't like her storylines or she's boring, she ain't got nothing to talk about. She does, she shares what she's doing in her boss world, the endeavors that she has. And shout out to Candy, because ain't nothing stopped no show for her. She doing big things. Her and Todd are producers on the Othello play on Broadway. She got all kind of stuff going on, so she ain't missing no coins. But Phaedra been gone. We still, the past few years we had what's her name? Can't think of her name right now. She used to be Olympic, or she is an Olympic star. What is her name? I want to make sure I honor her name. Sonia Richards Ross. She's not on there this season. Who else was on there recent years that's not on there? Marlo. Marlo had just got her peach and she's not back on. So we're missing a lot of the familiar faces. Cynthia, I think she's a friend to the show now instead of a main character. And that's cool, because I don't know if she has that much going on right now. Yeah, so it's not the familiar faces, the OGs, it's kind of mixed up. So people from the past couple of seasons that we've gotten to return, Drew Sidora, she brings the mess element, I guess, but I don't know if she's that interesting. She cool, she decent. Of course, Kenya Moore, but after next week, we may not see her on many episodes. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if she got fired or what. And then we have Shamea, who's always been a friend to the show because she's good friends with Candy and best friends with Porsha. And then, of course, we have some newbies, and I'm going to be talking about one of the newbies for the most part on this episode. Probably not too much into the other ones. So we're talking about friendship and circles and certain energy that people can possess in your friend group. So Porsha and Shamea have been best friends for a long time. They grew up together. Shamea has always been on the show as, like I said, either a good friend of Candy or a friend to Porsha. Shamea seems very supportive of Porsha. She seems to show up for her. They're very close. They're kids, know each other, play together, all the good things. I guess they went to high school together. I don't know how long their friendship has lasted, but they've known each other since they were kids. And on this latest episode on Sunday, first of all, Shamea has come on this season and kicked the dough in. She has not played no game. She like, friend who? I think her tagline is something about +1. I've always been that one or the one, something like that. So she's letting it be known that although she's been a friend to the show, people think she's a sidekick or, um, you know, somebody called her a lapdog or whatever. She's like, I have success in my life. She's showing her husband is very successful. They live in a $9 million home. He has gained he's an African man. I think he might be from Ghana. I don't think he's from Nigeria, but I don't know. She jokingly said when the producer asked what he does for a living that he was an African prince, because a lot of women think that they can, find them an African prince and get money. And a lot of guys from Africa, Nigeria specifically too, say that they're princes. And maybe they were of their village. I don't know. But she jokingly said he was an African prince, but then she clarified that he has gained his wealth through HVAC, which is, I think, important to talk about too, because oftentimes we see wealthy men from like white collar type businesses, entrepreneurs that have, tech companies, or they're into oil and gas, or they are, um, you know, they have. I dated a Nigerian that had a what is it? A home health care business that was very lucrative. Um, was it home health care? Yeah, yeah, home health care. Um, other fields, mostly white collar fields. So to see the blue collar profession represented, and to see that, it brings in coins too. And I know people know for the most part that you can be very successful with a blue collar job. It's just not as glorified. Like if you hear someone is in construction, you're thinking, oh, well, you need to be either a developer, an investor, um, a broker, or something to that level. But some of them construction workers are making money and they have their own construction worker or construction firm. Um, Plumbers, it's not a glamorous job, but you can make some good money if you are a plumber or if you have a plumbing company. Um, what's the other job? I was talking to this guy. He was I don't know if it's a foreman. I don't know the technical term of his position, but it was not a glamorous job at all. It was something to do with porter potties and being outside in the field, but he was the head honcho on the field. Not the field. He was the boss, and he made pretty good money for that. And HVAC. My little cousin is getting ready to go into HVAC, and I was just letting him know that that's a great field to go into because you have room to grow. You can make money, of course, just being a technician, but you can also decide to have your own company and teach others and all that. So there's wealth in it, per Shamea's husband. But one thing about Shamea, she's not just relying on her husband's wealth. She also gets out there and does her thing. Um, she's a radio host, and of course, she's on Real Housewives of Atlanta, so she's making money doing that. She's doing appearances and all of the things that come along with the fame of being on a reality show. And I'm sure she has other endeavors as far as businesses and things that I'm just not privy to, but she's making her own way. I think I did hear her say that she has like empowerment, women's empowerment workshops that she does and all of that, because there was a situation with one of the newer cast members that she had where they were going back and forth, name calling, hitting below the belt. She talked about the woman's nose, and she did extend a literal olive branch, brought this woman a bottle of olive oil with a branch sticking out of it to her dinner party to basically apologize for hitting below the belt a little bit too far. Because they like to say that they do fun shade and, certain things they can roll off your back, but certain things are a little bit too much. So anyway, I'm bringing that up to say when she apologized in her confessional, she was saying that because she is this woman, or maybe it wasn't in her confessional, but it was a conversation with someone else. She's like, because she does have women's empowerment programs or workshops or whatever, she represents women's empowerment. She doesn't want to come off as a mean girl. And as we know, especially those of us who live in Atlanta, a lot of these women who preach women's empowerment and have these brunches and workshops and all of that are mean girls, or they don't really like women like that, and it's just a money grab. So I'm glad that she was able to be accountable for her actions and self-aware enough to realize how that is contradictory, and was able to be grown enough to apologize and extend that olive branch. So back to the topic at hand. One of her other endeavors that she is pursuing is singing. So throughout the seasons, we've heard Porsha and Shamea singing for different reasons, different occasions. I've seen Porsha in one of maybe Candy's plays or somebody's play. She was singing. I've seen both of them sing the national anthem at a Braves game or something on TV. So we know that they both like singing. On this past Sunday's episode, Shamea recorded a song and she had a single, and she was very proud of it. She only let a select few people hear the song before it was going to be released. The song sounds great. Candy had put it on her Instagram the other day, and I didn't even realize it was Shamea's song, but I liked it. I thought it was Candy's song at first. But then I was like, that don't sound like Candy. And when I looked, I'm like, oh, she sounds good. I like the song. It's nice. It was produced by RL from Next and another producer. But she was very proud of it and very protective of it, because when you create something, when you have something that you want to share that's different from what people are used to, or whatever it is, however, what Erykah Badu says, keep in mind, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. It was that type of energy. So she didn't want to put it out before she got the opinions of those who meant something to her. So she did share it with her actual sister, and her sister encouraged her and said it was good, it was great, sounds good, she liked it. So then she mentioned that she was going to share it at the dinner party of the woman who she extended the olive branch to. She had a dinner party at this local place in Atlanta. Well, it ain't local to me, but it's in Atlanta called The Bank. It's like an event center. I've been there. I think I went there once. My mom had a show that she was on that was filmed there. It was actually my birthday that I went. It was on my birthday. They had a 70s party, Soul Train style party that my mom was in. So I went, and it's in Bankhead. It's right around. It's not too far away from Blue Flame Strip Club. So it's a little hood over there, but it looks nice on the inside. It's called The Bank. It has a vault theme, like a big old vault door that you open to get in there. And she had let me get her name, because I wasn't planning on talking about her as much, but since I'm mentioning her, let me put some respect on her name. I know she's married to an Oakley. Angela Oakley. Charles Oakley is her husband. I don't know nothing about him either. But Angela Oakley, so she had the dinner party. It was an all-black affair, even though Kenya showed up in turquoise. But she invited Shamea, even though they had just had a public argument at one of the other ladies' events, which was like a fundraiser. So anyway, it was nice to see them be able to make up. Hopefully they'll continue to have a cordial relationship, or possibly a friendship. But she decided that she wanted to share her new song, her new single, with the ladies at the dinner party. So after, you know, they ate their food, they talked, they were, you know, everybody had fun. They played a little game where you pick names out the hat, or maybe they didn't play this until afterwards. I think they played it afterwards. So she plays her song, and as she's playing her song, I was gonna play the clip, but I don't want to get dinged for playing her song. As she was playing her song, Porsha was like, never smiled, never congratulated her. Now, keep in mind, this is an edited reality show. So I don't know if everything that transpired was shown, but what we saw was Porsha talking as the song was going, saying, that ain't Shamea, that's Drew. Drew Sidora also sings. Shamea's like, no, that's me. And she's like, oh, I don't know your singing voice. Mind you, they grew up. They've sang around each other several times. So Porsha questioned that it was Shamea singing, said it wasn't her song, talked the whole time. Shamea's like, just listen. She never once looked happy for Shamea. She didn't look like she was too pleased that Shamea had a song and that she was sharing it. So the people are saying that Porsha is giving hater vibes and that she's jealous. And they've been saying this before this episode aired. They've been saying this due to Shamea having such a soft life, being with this man who spoils her, and she's in a $9 million house, and they have 2 children together, and they're planning to have more, and all of the things that they said Porsha wanted because she got with Simon. He's also African and wanted this elaborate life. So they're claiming that they feel like she's jealous. I'm not going to put that on her. I don't know if she's jealous. I'm not going to call her a hater, because Porsha, not saying that beautiful, successful women can't be haters, but I don't know her. So I'm just using this situation as an example. As y'all know, we transmute the gossip into growth. But I will say that it is not uncommon for friends or people in your circle to not be happy for you when you have something beautiful that you want to share. And it is unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, and it's a sign of an unsupportive friend, and it can be a sign of a hater. It can be a sign of a monitoring spirit. It can be a sign of somebody that does not mean you well, an enemy. Must I say? But I'm not saying that any of those categories are her. I'm just saying, if someone can not celebrate your wins, or they get upset or irritated or agitated or unhappy about you having the spotlight on you or shining or doing something great, then they can fall under those different categories. And it's up for your discernment, you to have discernment to be able to know what's going on and what to do next. So, of course, signs of an unsupportive friend, they downplay your success. A lot of those little this, little that. Oh, your little song. She didn't say this. I'm just saying, your little song. Oh, you did that. Oh, okay, that's nice. Oh, what was it? That type of energy, unsupportive. Again, acting uninterested or even irritated when you shine is something about you taking up space and shining and glowing and being your authentic self and being confident that gets under their skin. You good? And sometimes they compete with you rather than uplifting you. And all of these things that I just named can be for various reasons. And it's definitely up to you about what you want to do with these experiences. Sometimes people downplay your success because they don't know or they don't understand or they don't comprehend, or they don't want to see how big it truly is. Maybe they think they don't realize how much work you put into it, or how important it is to you, or how great it is. And maybe they're just looking at it as something that they, no big deal. That's something that they know you're good at it. They don't think that you need an extra amount of praise or recognition about it. Trying to give people the benefit of the doubt. So sometimes people are so used to you being amazing that they don't think that there needs to be a big celebration. Let me not say celebration, a big production over everything that you do, because that's just you. They know that you're great. It's just like, oh, okay. And sometimes they don't realize that they're doing it. And other times it can be a trigger for them to see you succeeding. And that trigger can be rooted in fear. It can be fear of, if you succeed, or if you go this route, if you make it big, maybe we're not going to be as close. Maybe something's going to change in our relationship or our friendship. Maybe you're going to change. It could be rooted in their own insecurities of, damn, you doing that, and they're comparing themselves, like, excuse me, man, they start to beat themselves up because they see you accomplishing things, and they start playing in their head what they can be doing but haven't been doing, or goals that they haven't met, or they feel like you all started in the same place, but you're so much farther ahead than them. And again, I'm not trying to give excuses. I'm just trying to give some reasons as to why people can act like that at sometimes. And sometimes, let's just keep it real, sometimes they are haters. Sometimes they don't want to, they don't, I was going to say they want to see you win, but not more than them. Sometimes they don't even want to see you win. Sometimes they don't feel like you're deserving to win. Sometimes they feel like what you're doing should be them, or you don't qualify to have success in whatever it is that you're doing, or you don't deserve it, or whatever the reason. Acting uninterested or irritated when you shine, sometimes that could be rooted in an attention-seeking behavior, and that's usually rooted in some childhood stuff. Like, maybe they didn't get enough attention as a child. Maybe they were neglected. Maybe they were abandoned. Maybe they were abused. So when other people have the light shined on them, they feel like something's wrong because it's not about them, or they're reliving some things that they've already lived before. Like, oh, it's usually about me, or it should be about me, because it's never been. Or maybe they've always been the center of attention. They're spoiled. They've always been praised. They've always been number one. They've always been the winner. They've always been the one to shine. So they're not used to sharing the spotlight. Shadow work. I'm trying to tell y'all, do your shadow work. And then the competition stuff, a lot of that too can also be rooted in childhood. I've shared with y'all situations that I had with someone in my past who was always competing with me. And I'm like, girl, I'm not competing with you or nobody else. I'm on my own path. And to compete with you would mean that I'm trying to reach your goals. I'm trying to reach mine. I'm staying in my lane. But being competitive also can be rooted in childhood. It could be, having a lot of siblings, having to compete for their parents' attention or love, competing to feel important, competing because it was taught that that was a healthy thing. Because even with that person that I was mentioning, when I talked to her mother about it, she was like, yeah, all women have, all girls are competitive like that, because she had a lot of daughters. And I'm like, I grew up as an only child, so I didn't really resonate with that. So, yeah, again, you can Give grace if you would like to in that situation. If you feel like you know somebody's heart, and they start exhibiting those signs, sometimes it is like, you know, what they've been through, or again, it's rooted in some type of childhood abandonment, neglect, abuse, not feeling like enough, poor sense of self-worth, low self-esteem. Not that any of those things are your issues or your problems, but sometimes you can lend a little bit of grace to somebody that is exhibiting what we always label as hater vibes. They might not even know that they're coming off that way. It's just their insecurities are projected out loud, or their trauma is being projected onto you. So again, it's not your responsibility to have to nurture that or have to understand it. But if it's somebody that's important to you and you feel like you do know their heart and it's not their intention to be jealous or hateful, then maybe you can consider giving them grace. I know someone else, I'm not going to say the name of my relationship to them, but I remember them not being, feeling away, feeling like they didn't belong or they weren't included. Let's say that, feeling like they weren't included with things. And there was a situation that occurred that didn't include me, but I didn't care though. But they called me to like boast about it. And it wasn't that they never felt included from me. It was the people that they didn't feel included from that actually included them this time. And so when they called me, it wasn't just like, oh, this is what happened, we did this, we did that. It was like wanting to gloat about it, almost like the same feelings that she had of not being included in other situations. It was almost like she wanted me to feel that, and I didn't. Like, I was just like, oh, that sounds great, da da da. So I gave her grace because I know how she feels, and I know that I don't even think she understands what she was doing in that moment, but I picks it up. I picks up what people are putting down. But I know what the root of it is. So I didn't get upset or irritated with her. It's just like, almost felt not bad, but I felt like, damn, just I really hope that she was able to heal that feeling of not being included. Because it is manifesting into something completely different. So anyway, there are situations where people are acting like that, but it has absolutely nothing to do with the person that they are acting like that about. Again, just because it has nothing to do with you, if it is directed towards you, of course, you have the right to be offended. If you decide to take it personal, you can do that as well. And you have the right to do whatever it is that you feel is necessary to do at that moment. Y'all know I always talk about the option of recategorizing people. If it's a person in your life that you feel like, because of whatever your personal reason is, history, connection, closeness, whatever, relationship, or you feel like this person is really not a bad person, they just have some messed up ways sometimes, or they are healing through some things, so you can give them grace. You don't necessarily have to cut them out and out of your life. You can recategorize them to, you're the person that I do this with. You're not the person that I share my wins with. You're not the person that I tell my business to. You're not the person that I open up to and I'm transparent and vulnerable about the things that I'm going through. You're the person that I call and check on sometimes. You're the person that I invite to lunch sometimes. You're the person that when I see you, it's all love. I hug you. We catch up. It's a beautiful thing. You're the person that I might even go out with or invite to a party. But you're no longer in that immediate circle that gets to know when I have something exciting going on. You'll hear it when everybody else does, online or maybe never. So you can always recategorize someone in your life. And I think people may look at that as having a lack of boundaries, But it's not really having a lack of boundaries. It's exercising your boundaries. It's setting boundaries. It's moving someone from here to here because that's your new boundary. I love them. I have a great time with them. I have no ill feelings about them. They're not here anymore. They're there. Um, of course, if you feel like it's deeper than just projected insecurities or childhood trauma or whatever, just oblivion to what they're doing. Of course, in all situations, you should be able to have a conversation with whoever's doing this to you. If they in your circle, whether they in your close circle, your immediate circle, or your extended circle, you should be able to have an uncomfortable conversation with them about how they are treating you, how it's making you feel, and coming up with some type of solutions. If after that conversation you're still not happy with it, at that point you can recategorize their ass or cut their ass off. So that's always an option. If somebody is, like I said, there's that other part of it where it might not be something as simple as they just don't realize it, or they're going through their own things. It might be they really are a hater. It might be that they really don't want you to succeed, that they are wishing you bad. It can be that they are a monitoring spirit sitting around trying to see what you got going on, asking questions, but not telling you what the hell they got going on. Um, feeling agitated and irritated just by you having happiness or joy, or someone else speaking beautifully about you, someone speaking highly of you. A person like that probably should be cut out, or cut out of your life, or cut off, or you know, like you say, you don't trust them as far as you could throw them. You have to just really have your third eye, first eye, second and third eye wide open when it comes to them. Use your intuition, your discernment, your common sense, and make sure that you are safe around them, because some of those type of people can be dangerous. So I hope that Porsha was just having a moment. I hope that her and Shamea can resolve their issues, because apparently they're no longer as close as they once were. I don't know if that was the issue. We haven't seen it unfold on the show, but they have made hints of it online. Well, at least Shamea and Candy have. But I hope that they can repair their friendship, because it was a long friendship. And, Porsha was at the time going through a divorce, going through her own thing. So it could be just, she is having a difficult time being happy for her because she was unhappy. I don't know. It's not fair. But I hope she's healing and doing her shadow work to make sure she recognizes that. And I hope that she looked back on that moment and actually saw what that looked like. And even if it was edited, there's certain things that you just can't edit. And it definitely appeared that she was not congratulatory for Shamea's song. And the song was amazing. So hopefully they can get it together. Speaking of dangerous, I'm going to try to wrap it up quick because we're almost at an hour. There was another situation that occurred on this past yesterday's episode. So there's a new cast member named Brit Eady. She's in the insurance business. She's married to, I think her husband's name is Red or something like that. I don't know, honey. She and Kenya, for some reason, Kenya Moore, Miss Fabulous, Gone with the Wind, Fabulous, twirl on their ass, Miss USA, second Black Miss USA. They've been beefing. I don't even remember what started the tension between them. I remember there was some type of pool party. I think it might have been at Shamea's pool party, where Kenya asked Brit if the ring she was wearing was a wedding ring. Brit got offended, feeling like, why are you asking about that? You going through a divorce? I don't know. Kenya is always going to give you shade. She's a little nice, nasty, or nasty, passive aggressive, or somewhat aggressive. Don't like to really call us black women aggressive, but she can be a bit much. But it's usually not anything that you not saying anyone shouldn't take Kenya's antics and be upset about them or irritated about them, because don't no grown woman want no other grown woman being shady, petty, nice, nasty, or anything. Like, we grown, we pick up what people are putting down. You know, sometimes the behavior is childish, sometimes it's catty. I get that. But it seems like Brit came in hot with very much being offended by every little thing and turning up, like going from 0 to 100 over everything that's being said to her. And maybe she's trying to let people know that she ain't the one or the two. But I think this season of Real Housewives, I don't know, because the way it's being shot, being filmed, but it kind of gives you Love and Hip Hop vibes this season, which is different and not in a great way. I think I watch a little ratchet TV. I watch Love and Hip Hop. It has its place, and Real Housewives is supposed to be a little bit more elevated. You know, a little bit more bougie. But anyway, at this event, this black tie event that at Angela Oakley hosted at the bank, they started playing this game where you write down a question for each person that was in attendance, and everybody has an opportunity to read it and answer the question. So, hold on. So anyway, Brit read a question that she says she didn't personally write. And the question asked if Kenya could be nice to her or be pleasant or cordial to her, something of that nature. Kenya was like, I can be nice and pleasant to anybody. And so Brit was turning up like, it didn't say, can you do that to everybody? It said, can you do that to me? Can you be nice to me? And so Kenya was kind of trying to pay her in dust, not trying to acknowledge or engage what she was saying. And it was irritating Brit. So she went from 0 to 100. I didn't think it was that deep. It was a game. You know that this girl don't like you for whatever reason. You don't like her. So why are you trying to force her to answer the question of, will she be kind to you directly? Clearly, she's showing you no. Or she's showing you that she can be cordial. Like, even when she came to hug Kenya, when Kenya came to hug Brit, she gave her a little church pat, and she called her out about that. Clearly, y'all just not each other's type of chick. So allow yourself to be in the room with each other because you're working or you networking or whatever it is that you're doing. You have mutual friends. Y'all ain't gotta be friends. You ain't gotta be buddy. Why are you so pressed to force this woman to be cool with you? It's not happening. So anyway, it escalated to the point where Brittany was just feeling like, I'm gonna show you, you're gonna F around and find out. She's like, yeah, because I got my piece on me. Girl, huh? You talking about you got that pew 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 in your purse on set of Real Housewives of Atlanta? As you're all, I know y'all in Bankhead, but come on now, let's calm down. So she turned all the way up, honey, and she started, and because Kenya was paying her dust and ignoring her, she heard her in the background talking and getting turned up and stuff, calling for her husband and all of that. And she was antagonizing Kenya because she feels like Kenya antagonizes people. So she started antagonizing her by saying, yeah, let me call my husband. Where's my husband? Because she knows Kenya has went through a divorce. Okay, girl. So again, Kenya wasn't paying her no attention. Kenya started calling like different people outside, Porsha, Drew, to see what they were about to do next, who she was riding with or whatever. And you still hear Brit in the background going off. Her husband gets there and she's talking about, yeah, because I got pistols and whips. And girl, huh? First of all, it wasn't that deep. Did nobody threaten you? Kenya didn't get loud with her. She didn't get aggressive with her. She didn't approach her. She didn't get in her personal space. She didn't call her out her name. She didn't call nobody to say, I'm about to come get this girl. None of that energy that Brit was giving was warranted. Even if there was an argument, even if there was some aggressive behavior that went on, some personal space was invaded, a name call or whatever, if you can't handle an argument, you don't need to be on reality TV, because that's what they thrive off of. Fun shade, arguments, heated debates, disagreements. If you know that you can't handle being in that situation without feeling like you have to resort to violence and threats, you don't need to be on reality show, baby. You need to be in anger management. I don't rock with nobody that acts like that. Because I talk my shit. I'm not going to be disrespectful or rude, but I'm just naturally a shit talker. It's really just fun, sarcasm. I speak fluent sarcasm. I talk shit, which are jokes, not nothing like below the belt or insulting or anything like that. But women that act like that, or people in general that have a short fuse, they can't take jokes, that can't handle if we don't get along and all that, and they want to be quick to talk about they gonna go in their purse or pop their trunk. Maybe you act like you ain't got nothing to lose. I don't want no parts of your presence. I don't have to operate like that. It ain't that deep. Unless somebody's threatening your life is in danger, or there's very few scenarios where a pew 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 needs to come into play. Very few when it comes to disagreements. Very few. Maybe not even a few. Maybe just a couple. The ones I just named. Your life is being threatened, or it's some type of life or death situation. So that's why I say it's so important to nurture and develop and grow your emotional intelligence, because a part of emotional intelligence is emotional regulation. If you have a trigger or an emotional response to conflict and it resorts in threats and violence, something is going on where maybe you don't feel safe. Now you making it so don't nobody feel safe because you talking about you about to air this bit out. Why is that your go-to response? So there's always a difference between reacting and responding. You have to learn how to control your emotions. You have to learn how to, even if you feel like you want to let somebody know that you're not the one or the two, there's ways to do that without resorting to threats, weapons, violence, cutting up, acting a fool, showing out, embarrassing yourself in public. Now, I will say that some people cross the line with their words. Some people cross the line with their behaviors. Some people do be having you messed up. But again, it's not worth them dying and you going in prison, is it? So definitely I commend Kenya for picking her battles. Of course, you don't want to be the type of person to throw the rock and hide your hand. But in this case, I really don't think Kenya was in the wrong. She wasn't antagonizing her in this moment. They were playing a game. A question was asked. She answered it. The girl already had a chip on her shoulder. So Kenya didn't start it this time. She didn't start it. And what she did that was good was that she didn't engage. If she would have egged the girl on or talked shit back or made a phone call, it could have turned bad. Who knows? Because if you're making a threat on national TV, ain't no telling what you're capable of. I just saw a video last night of a woman had recorded this guy that apparently had tried to talk to her, but then he started going off on her when she rejected him. And, you know, I have personal, family member that experienced violence from rejecting someone. So I don't play about that. She started recording him and she was like, "What you say?" And he was saying, "Yeah, you ugly, you I don't know if he called her bald headed or something, you look like a turtle or look like a frog." Something he told her. So she was kind of like antagonizing him for harassing her. She's recording him. He's in his car. She's like, "What you say?" And then, "Whose car are you in now?" And he said he was in another woman's car. And she was like, "And you doing all this because you tried to talk to me and I didn't want to talk to you." And he's calling her bitches and saying, "Bitch, I ain't trying to talk to you, da da da." And so she said, "Bitch, call me witch," or something like that, she said. And then she said, "Your mother." So he said that if she said anything else about his dead mother, that he would get out the house, get out the car, and slap fire at her. So she said, "Your mother, your dead mother." And he got out the car, and she put the car in reverse and started driving off a little bit. He had an ankle monitor on, and he was holding his pants. And he said, first he said, "I'll slap you." Then he said he would shoot her. Because he was like, "I got my gun on me. I'll shoot the shit out of you." And she was like, "Do what you got to do." And she said, "Your mother," again, and drove off. Two clowns. For one, he's, of course, the clown in the situation with the biggest red nose. For you to be that fragile and that unhinged that you would disrespect, name call, belittle, and threaten a woman because she didn't want to talk to you, you're trash. Your ass need to be back in prison while you got that ankle monitor on, or jail, or wherever you came from. The authorities need to be called on you because you are a danger to society. Clown number two, why would you sit up there and go back and forth with a fool? He's clearly unhinged. It's not that serious to get you a viral moment. I could see if it was in the middle of him talking and you were out and about and you went live so you can protect yourself. You're just recording a random video interviewing this fool. So what did you say? You said that because get your ass out of there. You at a gas station at night talking to a clown, trying to prove a point, trying to go back and forth with him, calling him out his name, talking about his mother, letting him get out the car, and he's clutching, and you're still egging him on. Imagine him going ahead and doing what he said he was going to do, and all because you didn't want him to feel like he's scaring you. Be scared. That's scary. You weren't safe. So prioritize your life and stop trying to prove a point and go back and forth with these clowns and these fools out here in these streets because they're fragile, they're unhinged, they're unmedicated, undiagnosed, and they have issues and they have nothing to lose. So I digress, and I commend Kenya for not engaging with somebody that's threatening her life. I don't care how many security guards, cameras, and all that is around. Girl, you tripping. I don't have to prove a point by going back and forth with you because obviously you can't handle an argument. So that way. And I would have, I feel like Kenya should have just pressed charges on her because, like, you threatening me? Kenya Moore, business owner, one of the most famous Black women from, sitcoms and all the things that she's done from the 90s. I ain't gonna say one of the most famous, but like one of the most popular cameo actresses, and one of the women that we looked up to, especially darker skinned young girls, seeing her. Yeah, she have her issues. Yeah, she pushes buttons, but it wasn't that deep. Promise you it wasn't. So all I would say is just walk away from people that can't handle themselves, can't handle conflict, and don't engage, disengage, and protect yourself and pay attention. I've had friends who they weren't violent toward me, but they made statements that were violent toward other people, like, oh, I'll drag her and I'll do, like, the first thing they think of when there's something going on is I'm gonna fight her, or I'll do this, or go on my purse. It makes me think, if that's your go-to move, what how am I to be assured that if I don't irritate you or make you mad or we disagree, that that's not going to be your go-to move to me? So I'm always cautious of people who resort to violence, because I'm not, I'm not dealing with it. I'm not dealing with no violence. But anyway, on to this next topic so we can go ahead and wrap it up. Drew is kind of a lot. Drew Sidora. I'm wondering, should I save this topic for tomorrow? Yeah, I think I will. I'm going to talk about Drew Sidora tomorrow. So stay tuned, come back, because we will talk about some of the things about her marriage and some friendship dynamic rules and boundaries. While I have you here, I want you to go ahead and understand that you can visit OshaCerese.com anytime to access my offers. And you'll be happy to know that I spent a lot of time today, several hours updating it, because I told y'all that my website would be updated by April 1st, and I keeps my word as best as I can. So not only can you go to my website to enroll in a course. Of course, I have One Single Step at a Time, my 6-week healing workshop for healing, self-love, self-discovery, shadow work that a lot of people need to be doing, inner child healing, relationship trauma unpacking, all of the things, and preparing you to understand what it is that you want for your future in life, love, and career. It comes with 6 weeks of coaching, weekly coaching, guidance, and of course you get How to Beat Single Guided Journal. I have some surprises when it comes to this as well, coming soon. If you want to just grab a journal and do the work on your own, feel free to go to my website and get that as well. And I have 5 Ways in 5 Days, which is the self-love program teaching you how to incorporate your love languages into your daily acts of self-love and self-care, and helping you to uncover any blockages you may have in giving and receiving love. So always go check those out. If you are a business owner, an influencer, I like to use proper English, an influencer, a creator, if you just have some great ideas and you don't know what to do with them, you have some wonderful gifts you don't know how to utilize and monetize, go get you a strategy session. It's on the website under strategy session now. I changed it from content strategy to strategy session, because content might not be what you need. You might need some digital products like ebooks or courses. You might need to just come up with your niche. You might need a plan and not necessarily just a strategy. So book a strategy session so we can figure out the best way to support you on your journey on showing up on social media or getting some coins from your gifts that you have. Again, OshaCerese.com. You can go ahead and just book a discovery call. If you have no idea where to start, just start there. Book a call with me and I will guide you. And guess what? I always tell you that the Intentional Love Collective is available, linked in my bio as it is, but it is now on my website as well. So the Intentional Love Collective is a growing community and database. This is what it is. You put your information in. It allows me to curate experiences, singles events, mixers, matchmaking opportunities, dates for you with your values, your interests, your desires, and your preferences in mind. So when you come to my events, it's not like you're going to just see a bunch of randoms. It's going to be like, oh, she invited them because they align with what I'm looking for. And so it'll give you a better opportunity to find the love that you are looking for. So if you're a hopeful, romantic, intentional dater seeking love in 2025, please go to my website, oshacerese.com, and join the Intentional Love Collective. You can learn more about it on my website. So super excited about all of the great things we have. We're going to be, well, we've already brought in the new month of April. So we've completed and wrapped up the first quarter of the year. I hope that it was beautiful for you. I hope that this new year, officially, this new season of spring is bringing in great opportunities and love and happiness and joy and success into your life. And let's continue to grow and evolve together, y'all. So I'm going to give you a couple of journaling prompts to wrap it up. Have you ever felt unsupported by a close friend or someone in your close circle? And how did you handle it? Have you ever felt unsupported by someone in your circle? And how did you handle it? How do you handle conflict? Do you react impulsively or do you process first? And how do you handle when someone else is being aggressive? What is your go-to move when someone is being a little too aggressive? And we will talk about the rest of the topics that I have for you tomorrow. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, that you click the notifications. Thank you for those that pulled up on me live. Even though y'all were quiet, I see you. And if you're watching the playback, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Have a great evening. Good night.